purpose of this video is to show us how to do the predicting range from height to activity. The first thing you need to do is set your launcher to 70 degrees, which is what I am now doing in the video. We've used the angles before, so that should not be an issue for us. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to stack these books up to the same height as the muzzle of the launcher. Now it may not be exactly, because the books are an inch thick, so you could be a little bit above or a little bit below, but get as close as you can to the same level. Once you do that, you're going to just guess how far it's going to shoot. And then you move your books that distance. You're going to shoot at 3 clicks. So I'll move it along here a little bit. And then I watch and see where it lands. Then you adjust your books. So you're going to keep adjusting until you get the books. So I overshot a little bit. Now you also will find that as you adjust the books, it'll hit and then you shoot again and it will miss. There is some variance in the muzzle velocity of these projectile launchers. It is. So after you get to hit a couple times, then you can count it good. The reason we have the books here is we want the level it lands to be exactly the same as the level it shoots. So in a little bit, when we measure the height, we need to be measuring the height from the height of the projectile launcher. So after you do that, and it's set up how you want it, then you're going to fire it for real. So you can set up a ruler. And you can pretty much guess that your ruler is going to be halfway in between where the ball bearing lands and where it shoots. But again, you can do a couple of trials to make sure you want your ruler to where when you do a close-up, the ruler is going to be right exactly in line with the maximum height of the projectile. So I'm adjusting, but it's just me, so I can't have somebody adjust the video. So once you get it how you want it, if you want, you could put lines across the paper if you want. I didn't tape the second one up there, but you could do that. You should tape the second one up, or you could put lines however you want to do it. Then when everything's set up, you fire it for real. You'll do a close-up of this area to get as accurate as possible of the height. And again, the height needs to be from, and I didn't do this, but you need to measure the height from the top of the muzzle launcher down, or the height of the books, which should be the same. And then that's the height from where the ball bearing left the muzzle launcher to the top. That's the first height you need. Now from that maximum height, your instructions tell you what to do next. Okay, you know the angle. Okay, from the maximum height, you should be able to find the vertical muzzle velocity. You know the angle, so you can take that angle and vertical muzzle velocity and you can find the actual muzzle velocity. Once you know the actual muzzle velocity, again, this is all in your instructions, I'm just reading the instructions, you can use that in the angle to find the horizontal muzzle velocity. So now you have all that data. Then we're going to move the books underneath the projectile launcher. So we've changed two things. Now we've raised the level of the projectile launcher and we've lowered the ground. So now it's like the problems we've worked to where your projectile is landing below the level of where you shot. You will need to measure the height, and you should have measured the first height too, as I said. You're going to measure the height from the floor because that's where it's going to land to the muzzle launcher. You need to know that height. Once you do that, you're going to fire, like we've done a few dozen times. You're going to fire the projectile. You're going to need to measure the range and the time. You've done this enough, you can figure out the best ways. I'm putting some rulers down to illustrate. You're not going to be able to do a close-up on the distance because you need to see when the ball bearing leaves the launcher